Hey everybody, Bill in Virginia. Welcome back. So it is into April already, and just back after another couple of international trips. So back on Jerry's build, and what I'm doing today is I'm working out for the connected throttle. So Jerry wants to have one on this side and then another one on that side. So while I was gone, I ordered a splitter. It's a standard telephone piece here, and I've got it plugged into the power pack, and then I've wired up temporarily the phone jack for the opposite side, and then plugged in the throttle, and I've got matching indicators here and changing direction. So I've got that, and right now the way I've got the engine on the layout set, green is reverse, red is forward. So we'll bring it back to a forward piece if it works. There we go. And we have life. Train runs just fine. Again, I can get it down to just a creep on my DCC locomotive. So my proof of concept is good as long as I get the correct leads tied in. So I will disconnect this one. This one is actually going to go here. And I've got my other one over there. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to just cut that one in half so that I've got a longer lead. This is only like 6 inches, so I don't think that's going to be long enough. Since I know this is going to work, I can cut that one in half because that's like a 12-footer, and then I've got plenty of cable, and I'll just spool up excess underneath the layout and attach it so it's not going anywhere. So, more to come. So a little later Saturday afternoon, and I've got my comm cables started anyway. So I've got my splitter. This will go into the power pack. I've got my cable run to the opposite side, and then through the control panel, and just hanging right at the moment. That length is good. I can open this up all the way, and I've got enough slack, but not too much. On this side, earlier I was talking about building out like a little pad for this, but you know what? This is stable this way. So I've opted to just screw it in. Once I get the cover on, this will look just fine. I can take my cable and I can run it through, and I can hook it up, and I'm going to do that next before I do other things. And once I get this done, then I'm going to come back down and I will start to build the shelf for the power pack. I'm getting close to having the wiring and electrical all done here. So let's see what it looks like once I get it wrapped up. So this side is in. Got it wired. We'll test it all here in just a little bit, but that's gonna work. It looks pretty good. It's stable. Be easy for Jerry to plug into when he's over on this side, and it's not going anywhere. So I've got my jacks both wired now on that side and this side, run to the splitter, and I've got the splitter just temporarily plugged into the pack. I will do a proof of concept, make sure everything works before I build the shelf, and go from there. I think this should work okay, so I'm going to give it a test, and we'll find out here in just a minute. All right, this is the first run off of this one, and there we go. So again, red is simply the directional indicator, and just the way I've got the engine on, red should probably be reverse. But you know, if I push this, if I throttle it down, see both turn green, and now my train is going in reverse. So anyway, that doesn't really make any difference. Just depends upon what orientation Jerry puts his engines on. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to disconnect, because this does have memory. So the train should continue while I disconnect the throttle from this end and go to the other end and see if it works. Let's find out. All right, throttle is disconnected from this end. Let's go to the other end, plug it in, and see if we have success. Right, so on this end, I am live. Let's go in the correct direction. Let's turn the engine off from here and switch it over to green. Go in reverse. So there we have it. The main part of the wiring is done. I just got to build the shelf for the power pack, and I think we'll be in good shape here. Got to hold it apparently for a few seconds. All right. There we go. I don't want to get anybody motion sick, but come back over and sit in my little chair. And let's get this plugged in. We got power. Speeding it up to a non-prototypical speed. Now let's bring it back down. There we go. This is going to be more like what Jerry's running. So I consider this a success. I'm going to build the shelf now on this and button it up because I think we're good. So building the shelf that the power pack will sit on. Once I get the other supports in place and they're down, I'm letting the glue dry a little bit on that. Then I will drill some holes on the bottom so that my power cable can come through, as well as then the power feeds for the layout. So just gonna let this cook for a little bit and put it together and run it. So I have the power pack installed. I am waiting for the glue to dry. Of course, I kind of get ahead of myself sometimes, but I like to do that. So it's clamped up. I'll show you that here in just a second, but you can see the throttle over on this side. And again, everything works nicely. I'm going to crank it up just a little bit. And bring it down. And I'm going to disconnect it from this side. Take it over and sit down on my little stool here. There we go. Before it gets over to here, I will plug it in. And you can see I've got my indicator light. So there we go. The electrical and control wiring is finished for Jerry's build. I'll show you what I got on the inside. Let me put her down slow. There we go. So you can see the power pack is just setting in here. Still got the clamps on. You can see the glue's wet. I ended up putting in 2.5-inch screw into here because it just wasn't grabbing fast enough for me. So normal. Normal for my builds. But everything else is in here. I've got plenty of room. I've got loose cables so that nothing's going to bind. You can reach in and turn off the power pack here, or simply unplug it when the engine stopped. And that's it. You know, this can come out easily. I can bring it out, disconnect the cord for the control. Got it plugged in through the bottom. My power wires are kind of going off on this side. I've got enough room for that. And oops. Yeah. There we go. Let's crank it up just a hair, of course. That's because it ran into the throttle and I derailed it. There. Feel that. I think I'm good. Yep. There we go. So anyway, this part of Jerry's build is completed, and I'm happy with the results. I will let the glue actually dry on the shelf that I built. Take the clamps off those later. But I'm going to get hold of Jerry and see if he wants to come over and run his layout. And in the meantime, I'll do like I was talking about. I'll get a piece of strap track. sand down some ties, put them in place, and I'm going to move this time. And then talk about paint, get that done, get the ballast done. This can go over to Jerry's and the rest can be done over there. So good progress being made today. Been in contact with Jerry, and tomorrow he's going to come visit. Told him it's time for him to come over and run the railroad. So what I've been doing here now for a little while, it's Saturday evening, is I've been starting to paint the track. So I'm using kind of the same method that I used on the other layouts, in that I've got a mix of colors. You can see I've got burnt umber, black, brown, and a dark gray. And I just take little dabs of each, mostly the burnt umber, and then just kind of not really mix, but apply to the track. And it's kind of hard to see because it's still wet, but just coming down here, you can see the difference that it makes in the plastic ties. I'll clean the rail heads off a little bit later. Use a bright boy. I haven't cleaned the track, so that will happen at that point in time. You can see I started up there near the crossover. I'm just slowly work my way around and get everything covered good. And I should be able to do ballast probably starting this week, or maybe even tomorrow. We'll see. I'm sure I'll be out here for a while yet tonight doing more. Yeah, it's coming together quick now. Painting ties makes a big difference on how a track looks. So right here, these have been painted. I just took the bright boy and cleaned off the rail tops. I will let everything set until tomorrow. And still have to paint on the opposite side, basically that area right there. Once that's done and I clean it, I will add a little bit of No-Ox ID, just a few little spots I'll rub on some and let the engines carry it around the track. As I've said many times, I like the No-Ox ID. I think it works really good, but you know, for you, do whatever works for you for keeping your track clean and keeping that electrical conductivity really good. So what makes it fun and enjoyable to run the trains is when they work well. So anyway, this wraps up a Saturday night. I am going to just call it and tomorrow get started again. Jerry's going to come over tomorrow, so I will have everything ready for him to run his trains on this, and we'll get some video of Jerry.
I'm going to take it up a little bit, just about.
Yeah, that's a good speed. You're still going to get quite a while before it, you know, goes back on itself.
Yeah. That to me would be about the maximum I would run it at.
Yeah. And what's nice is with your Atlas engine, there's no hesitation. It runs smooth.
With a couple of exceptions, all my engines are Atlas. All my engines I'll be running on here are Atlas 4-axle diesels.
Yeah.
I've got a BL2 from Lifelike, which is one of their later ones.
Yeah, Lifelike, the old or the newer stuff is pretty good. It's like that Pensy one that I've been running on here. It's a Lifelike, but it's one of the new, kind of newer ones. And it's been running really well.
Is this a 3-axle?
Yes.
Okay, so you can actually run a 3-axle on here.
Yeah, that's kind of why I've been using it as a test engine, because the curves are tight, the switches are kind of tight, and if it can run through there, you know, any larger engine can. And then I've been using a Roco, that other little Pennsylvania that I had on it earlier, and that's running pretty good. It's just not quite as nice and smooth as the other engines. But for a Roco, it runs pretty good.
I've also got a Bachmann Virginian Trainmaster, because that was a railroad that ran close to my house when I was growing up.
Yeah.
We called them Yellow Jackets.
Well, you're going to have a lot of fun, a lot of switching. And I know you said that you're not planning on using some of the lines that are going off scene, but I would suggest you make some little track bumpers just,
Yeah.
just in case. Because earlier today when I was testing all of the switches, I forgot to unthrow one over on this side, but luckily it bounced against the support for the O-scale layout. Otherwise I would have dumped my engine on the ground.
Yeah, I've been looking, a couple places I've seen where rather than a three-dimensional bumper, put in a couple pieces of sprue in the center that will catch.
Yeah, grab at the coupler as it goes through. Well, late Sunday afternoon, and I'm going to wrap up this video. Had a nice visit with Jerry. He was enjoying his layout this afternoon. And I'm getting ready for the next steps on this. You can see some pink foam board has reappeared. I have come back in and trimmed cork, and it adhered very well to the paint. So I've got the road beds laid out pretty well. You can just see where I did some cuts. It's all going to be hidden by scenery, so nothing that I'm worried about. It's not going to cause any harm or any problems. So I'm ready to start doing ballast work. And Jerry has the ballast color that he wants. So this is going to be the next step. I'm going to start getting that done. Once we get the ballast work done, this layout will go over to Jerry's place fairly soon. And from there, I will make visits to Jerry, and we will be working on his scenery. So good progress this weekend. And with that, keep having fun on your layouts. Until next time.